Hi everyone and welcome back to Becoming Better, the channel dedicated to sharing knowledge for personal growth through amazing books. Today I want to introduce you to an extraordinary book. It's so simple that even a 6-year-old could understand it, yet it has taken the world by storm since its release in 1998. The intellectual elite and successful individuals alike have hailed it as a life-changing masterpiece. The book I'm talking about is Who Moved My Cheese? By Spencer Johnson, one of the most respected and celebrated authors in the world. Through a simple fable about two little people and two mice navigating a maze in search of cheese, Johnson highlights a major issue plaguing society today: the mental traps we set for ourselves. Many people get stuck in cycles of overthinking, overcomplicating problems, and ultimately backing themselves into the dead ends of life's maze, refusing to embrace change. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, or caught in the spiral of overthinking, this book might just be the dose of motivation and clarity you need to make a change. So now, let's dive into a special Becoming Better discussion: the core strategy to stop overthinking, inspired by the powerful lessons from Who Moved My Cheese. The fastest way to destroy yourself: overthinking. Hem and Haw, two tiny humans, lived in a maze alongside two mice, Sniff and Scurry. Their daily task was to search for cheese, and one day they stumbled upon Cheese Station C, filled with an abundance of delicious cheese. Initially, all four were diligent, waking early and using their unique skills to navigate the maze. However, as Hem and Haw grew comfortable with the seemingly endless supply of cheese, they became complacent. They woke up later, stopped their daily routines, and no longer worried about finding more cheese. Their overindulgence led to physical and mental lethargy, while Sniff and Scurry remained alert, checking daily for any changes in the station. One day the inevitable happened: the cheese was gone. Hem and Haw were shocked, then furious, blaming each other and accusing unknown forces of stealing their cheese. They spiraled into anger, frustration, and despair, refusing to leave the station or face the new reality. Meanwhile, Sniff and Scurry didn't waste time analyzing or lamenting. They immediately adapted, putting on their running shoes and venturing into the maze to search for new cheese. This story highlights the difference between humans and animals. While humans have the ability to think deeply, this complexity can sometimes be their downfall, trapping them in mental mazes of overanalysis. Sniff and Scurry relied on instinct, adjusted swiftly, and moved forward. Hem and Haw, on the other hand, overthought everything, asking endless questions like, "Why did this happen to us?" or "What should we do now?" They overcomplicated the situation and remained stuck, unable to act. The truth is, pain and suffering don't come solely from losing something or facing setbacks, but from the inner battle we create within ourselves. Overthinking is the fastest way to drain your mental energy and trap you in stagnation. Psychology calls this rumination, a term derived from how animals like cows chew, swallow, and regurgitate food to chew it again. Similarly, people who ruminate replay the same thoughts in their minds without finding solutions or making decisions. Hem and Haw became caught in this cycle, trapped by their inability to let go of the past and adapt to change. Perhaps you've experienced this too, dwelling on missed opportunities, clinging to what you've lost, or overanalyzing small moments in your life. You may think, "If only I had tried harder," or "Why did they say that to me?" These thoughts, though often trivial, can spiral into an endless loop, consuming your energy and leaving you stuck. Overthinking is seductive yet destructive, dragging you deeper into a mental quagmire while robbing you of the strength to break free. As the snowball of worry grows larger, it becomes harder to escape its crushing weight. Yu Guangzhong once said, "Your problem is that you read too little and think too much." Many people dream up 1,000 paths at night but wake up the next morning and continue down the same road. Without action, your thoughts will only amplify your troubles, suffocating you under their weight. No one can help you escape this spiral but yourself. You must make the choice to break free, to shatter the emotional cage that holds you captive, and to find your way out of the maze of your own making. The root of all suffering lies in overthinking and underdoing. Among the two little people, the slow and sluggish one was the first to save himself. He didn't want to sit still and wait for death anymore, so he decided to go back and search for cheese every day like before. The sluggish one disagreed and questioned him, asking what would happen if he couldn't find any cheese, or if something bad happened. But the slow one no longer wanted to think too much. He dragged his weak body through the maze, occasionally picking up a moldy piece of cheese, hurriedly eating it, and gradually regained his strength. His mood also improved. Whenever he felt discouraged, he reminded himself that even though what he was doing didn't make him feel comfortable, it was still much better than being stuck in a situation with no cheese to eat. At least he was controlling the situation by stopping overthinking and constantly encouraging himself. Eventually, the slow one found the new cheese station, just like the little mice. But this time, he wasn't obsessed or dependent on the huge pile of cheese. He went to the station every day, ate some cheese, then ran through the maze, continuing to search for more. Meanwhile, the sluggish one was still complaining about the loss, waiting for death to come slowly. This ending reminds me of a famous psychology experiment with a glass of water. A professor held up a glass of water and asked his students to guess how heavy it was. Some said 5 grams, others said 10 grams. But the professor shook his head and explained that the weight of the water didn't depend on the grams, but on how long you held it. The first time you hold it, it might only feel like 5 grams. But if you hold it all day, it might feel like it weighs hundreds of pounds. So how do you get rid of this burden? The answer is simple: put it down. Once you take that first step, you will be able to take the right actions next. The root cause of all burdens and anxieties is that you think too much and do too little. People who overthink always want to know more, want to update information, and want to be sure about everything before taking action. However, striving for smoothness and perfection only leads to more problems. Endless thinking will drain your resources, both mentally and physically, which you need to solve problems. The best way to stop self-depleting mentally is to stop focusing on the outside world, redirect your attention to yourself, and focus fully on actions in the present day. If you lose some cheese, go find more. If you fail the exam, study harder for the next one. If your boss looks at you with a certain attitude, focus on doing your job well today. If someone says something hurtful, go plant some flowers, exercise to stay healthy, or do something you enjoy. Often, one good action is worth 1,000 thoughts, and one change is far more valuable than pointless persistence. Instead of torturing yourself with mental depletion, it's better to use action to break through this deadlock. Whoever took my cheese, just take it. Perhaps many of you still wonder, even though you know that overthinking is harmful, you can't help it. What should you do? If you still can't take action to change, you need to understand the truth behind your self-destructive thinking. Overthinking is a result of having too many expectations. The author wrote that the maze symbolizes the complexity of society and the inner world of humans. The cheese represents the things you desire most at a certain point in life, whether it's a high-paying job, a happy relationship, a healthy body, a beautiful villa, a word of affirmation from others, or a prize from winning a competition. We are all searching for our own piece of cheese. We believe that obtaining this cheese will bring us happiness, but once we have it, many begin to depend on it. When it's lost, we feel hurt. This is a vicious cycle in the maze. Without mindfulness, it's easy to get lost and find no way out. Before we have the cheese, we crave it. When we don't achieve it, we doubt ourselves and complain about the circumstances. When we get it, we become complacent and refuse to leave our comfort zone. Ultimately, when we lose it, we panic. Throughout this process, many things change that you can't control. Whenever something unexpected happens, if your heart is still filled with expectations for the cheese, your emotions and thoughts will overwhelm you, leading to failure in many aspects of life. In psychology, there's a phenomenon known as the Wallenda effect. A high-wire performer named Wallenda used to succeed because he was always focused on walking the wire. But one day, before going on stage, he emphasized how important the performance was and said failure was not an option. The result was that he slipped and tragically fell to his death. Social psychologists call this the Wallenda mindset, which refers to focusing not on the task at hand but on the potential success or failure. If you focus too much on the outcome and others' judgments, you overlook yourself, increase pressure, and end up mentally exhausted. In this state, things usually unfold in the opposite direction of your expectations. Therefore, the best way to stop overthinking is to take action. To maintain action with freedom and joy, simply stop focusing on the results. Once you no longer have expectations for any piece of cheese, whether it's passing a particular exam, proving yourself to others, earning more money, being loved by someone, or avoiding judgment from others, there will no longer be so many things to overthink. No matter what happens or what someone says, you will remain like a solid wall, unmoved. However, letting go of expectations and results doesn't mean you stop doing what you want. No one can bind you except yourself. Letting go of expectations will bring true freedom, allowing you to do things that truly matter to you. Believe that a simple and pure self will guide you. This is the secret to success, as the self-taught genius Faraday once said. Pursue success with all your heart, but don't expect success. The results will often come when you least expect them. We are all shining stars in our own world, but mere specks of dust in someone else's. That's why placing expectations on others or material things, such as fame or status, will only lead to a life full of futile effort. You will see that letting go of expectations for the cheese is not only the key to stop overthinking and mental depletion, but also the way to truly achieve what you desire with freedom and joy. At that point, you won't fear or worry anymore. You won't even ask who took my cheese, because when you have it, keep your pure heart and willpower, and when you lose it, just let it go without overthinking. Simplify everything like the little mouse. Act immediately and, most importantly, don't expect anything from anyone or anything. As a great spiritual teacher once said, "I just do and don't worry about the outcome. If I don't succeed, I will accept it." When the book Who Moved My Cheese was released, it immediately topped global bestseller lists for over 20 years. This book has inspired and motivated millions of people seeking survival opportunities in life. Many refer to the story of searching for cheese in the maze as a lesson in mastering life, stepping outside of one's comfort zone, and courageously making changes. However, alongside this, there are still many people in society who deeply want to change but cannot. These are often the people struggling with mental exhaustion, such as anxiety, fear, procrastination, depression, or overthinking. In such cases, initially, we may feel like the slow, reluctant character, angry, doubtful, and indecisive. Eventually, we might resemble the slower character who seeks calmness through reflection and then bravely takes the first step toward change. But the best way is still to live like a little mouse, focused on the present moment, letting go of expectations, thinking less and doing more. There's a saying, life means living it, not just thinking about it. In the journey of life, the slowest steps are not those that are half-hearted, but the ones spent going in circles with endless thoughts. The fastest steps are those that move forward, fully embracing the present moment. Don't dwell on a past that cannot be undone or carry worries for a future that has not yet arrived. Instead, appreciate the beauty of the present moment. Simplify everything with a heart free from attachment to expectations from others or any situation. And in doing so, you'll realize that life is a process of gradually eliminating what is unnecessary. Soon you will understand what truly matters to you and become a simpler person, living a truly free life. Finally, I want to share a few lines of poetry with you. Spring will be beautiful when flowers bloom, summer lovely with breezes blowing through the sky, fall charming with the full moon shining, winter enchanting with falling snow. But the most beautiful season is the one in life when your heart is at peace. I hope all 4 seasons of your life will be the best seasons. Thank you for listening. If you found this video helpful, please share it with others who may need it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated with our latest videos. Once again, thank you sincerely, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.